taking advantage of the lighting and the fact that Michael is still asleep and so is Joe, and my teenage sisters-in-law are still sleeping too. So, what you gonna do with your life is basically what I've been asking them. One wants to be a psychologist, the other one wants to be an accountant, uh, but or no, an ambassador. So, so it's like they have their shoes to fill, and but you know what's crazy? It's like all of a sudden I'm on this crusade. You know, if I had a teenager, how would I be connecting, or how would I want my kid to connect with me? Is basically what my honest expression is today. Um, I've gone through some pretty crazy stuff, and a lot of it I feel is karmic debt for maybe a past life that it wasn't maybe as nice as I am this time around. But I accept it. But teenagers right now don't understand what they're going through, and unless they can connect to somebody like you, like the parent, they're gonna connect with somebody else, and the other person might take advantage of them. So I think it's best that you take the time and say, listen, I know you want to go explore with sex, but do yourself a favor, go get a master's in Johnson, read up on it, or do some research online. And I'm not saying go watch a porno, but at least go educate yourself. What makes you feel good, you know? And what makes me feel good is expressing myself honestly. So, even if it's not making me money right now, I know it will eventually because if you do what you enjoy, you never work a day of your life. And I was reminded of that when I hung out with Greg for a bullet for my Valentine, along with Cattleman. Me and Cattleman went to Bullet, and we had met Greg when we went and saw Johnny Depp. And I'll tell you something, it really woke me up. Like he does lights, and I remember doing lights when I was younger, but I never really appreciated it, you know. And I think being that I really enjoyed it, I should have followed it. Go get, sound engineer or something like that, and get it turn into a manager. He's like, oh, you would have made a great manager, and I'm like, I would have really loved to manage a band. Honestly, I would have been a great manager because I get into their music, I get into their heads, and I try to see what inspired them to get to that point. And it's just like I think the fans know more about the artist than the artist knows about himself. You know, and it's when that light goes on in your head and you go, you know what? She's right. The fans know more about me and know me better than I know myself. And my friends tend to know how I react to things pretty good too. But lately, I don't know. I'm coming to. I don't know. It's like it feels like I'm coming to age. I'm like waking up and going, oh, all this stuff is bullshit. In 100 years from now, all this is gonna be nothing. So what are you building today? What are we going to build today, folks? Is my question to you. It shouldn't be what you're gonna do with your life. It's like what you're gonna build today. Dan used to say that all the time. What you building? And I always thought that was cool. You should be building a motor. You know, that was always fun. Useless skill I have, which I think is kind of funny. I know how to resurface a head for a motorcycle. And something that not a lot of people know, if the diamond bit was replaced, you should get a rainbow finish. Rainbow finishes on a head is the sign that it's like ultra fat. And then I also know how to do multi-angle valve jobs. I also know how to port a head and know how to glass bead it so you don't know it has been ported. I didn't tell you that though. Oh, all that production class. They all know my secret. And for every 16 pounds, it's a horsepower. So if you're riding a motorcycle and you're racing, the ideal weight would be to be 160 pounds with your leathers, helmet, and boots, because then you would be only taking away 10 horsepower from your motorcycle. When the temperature is higher, obviously you have to adjust your tire pressure, which not a, you know the amateurs and rookies don't really know until they too late, and or you toss it. And I think that's probably why I tossed it on my first or second race. I didn't know that. But hey, trial and error. I still had fun and I still went back. But all I'm saying is, what you want to do with your life? I want to connect with teenagers. I really do. I want to say, you know what? Whatever you went through, let's talk about it because I'm sure there's worse. And when you look at it and you say, you know what? If I could help somebody get through that similar situation, I've done I've negated my karmic debt with that situation. And maybe I'll be able to avoid another bad situation in the future because I was able to call myself on it. So, anyways, the sun's starting to come up. I need coffee. And you know what's crazy? I never started drinking coffee until I moved to the States. And it was in 1994 that I started drinking coffee when I was working at a body shop during the day, dry, you know, wet sanding cars, and then waitressing at night at Roxy's and living in a little dorky apartment that was like rat infested. That's when I started drinking coffee. Never drank it before then, but now I make a mean cup of coffee. And coming on 15 years of making coffee. So I'm getting as good at making coffee as I am good at riding motorcycles. Because I've been riding since I've been 10 years old, so I know my motorcycles, and I adore them, and I love horsepower, and I love the smell of race fuel. Oh, what you gonna do with your life? As long as it's surrounded by race fuel and teenagers and happy parents and kids, I'm happy. Let's make a movie, man. Let's reconnect with our kids. Let's reconnect with our folks. Let's have barbecues. Let's celebrate life. Is there anything wrong with that? I want my neighbors to have barbecues and I can smell their barbecue and they go, oh man, we should have a barbecue too. But everybody's all like, all stressed out, all wigging out and stuff. It's like, it's chill. Life is too short. Your parents could die tomorrow. Somebody you care could have in a car accident tomorrow. Are you gonna have any regrets today, or could you at least say at least yesterday was better than I was the day before? And I am. I really am. I hope you are too. So what you want to do with your life? Let me see. Well, I would like to get rid of all my heavy metals. One of my Christmas presents for my husband. And I would like to connect with somebody out there that feels the same way I do because the missing link is our kids. They are our future. They are the ones that are going to talk about us. And they're the ones that are going to say, that one thought outside the box. They were the innovators. And I say, let's do something about it. What you going to do with your life? I'm going to connect. I'm going to connect to the people that need to connect to me to make this happen. Why? Because I believe. And why do I have the courage to do this? Because I love the idea of connecting with kids. Because I was one, and I would have really loved it if somebody would have just grabbed me and connected with me and said, you know what? Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. So, peace. Yeah, the sun's like right in my face right now. Alright, well, have a great day. Go love somebody. Because somebody loves you. Oh man, I have a lot of wrinkles. I'm old.